Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WebDM Plays The Dark Eye Adventures in Aventuria. We're very excited to be back into the action this week and to discover just what is happening in Havana and what this mysterious evil cult has in store for the world of Aventuria. Gathered with me today are a beautiful cast and crew. We have to my right, Liam playing two. How's it going, Liam? How you doing?
To Mario Fanu, I'm good. I'm chill. I am looking forward to today. I'm in my brand new office, and those things stuck up behind me are probably going to fall off the wall. If they do, ignore it. All right, just ignore it. Fuck 3M strips. But otherwise, let's just get on and have a good time. I'm down for today. I'm looking forward to it.
I feel you on that. I feel you. I'm just looking at my own wall now with my own hastily slapped on soundproof foam. And below the lovely Liam, we have the wonderful Emma, who plays Ortlieb.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm here. I spent the whole time you were talking to Liam trying to think of something witty to say right now, and I got nothing. So there we go. Happy to be here.
Something about sausages.
Sausages! Yes, sausages.
Excellent. And then we have the wonderful Sharang playing Tariq. Hi, Sharang.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm playing Tariq, and I had a new kind of sausage this week. My sister and I bought some Turkish sausages from our grocery store and made a cool dish out of it, and it was very good. So, sausage.
I just have to say, when you said you had a new kind of sausage, there was a moment where I panicked.
I was expecting something different, but then I was like, wait, you said you weren't dating because of COVID.
COVID, I'm like trying to like keep to the bubble, so no new kind of sausage. Hopefully, an old kind of sausage next week, but we'll see.
I felt that collective intake of breath, being like, "What? Oh, actual sausage. Okay, all right." Moving on.
I mean, I like fermented. The Turkish sausage was fermented, so it wasn't old kind of sausage, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
That's amazing.
Never had fermented sausage.
No, me neither.
Mm-hmm.
This is now a sausage podcast. But
Sausage
We've all had
hair.
fermented sausage. If you've had pepperoni or salami, you've had fermented sausage.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, with that knowledge, we move on up to the lovely Jim Davis plays Gorion. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how's it going? No new sausage for me this week, although apparently I've had a lot of old sausage in my life that I just wasn't aware of. So
True.
doing great.
This is a great energy today. But I am Susie, and I will be your game master for today. Oh, master? Ooh. I just felt my working class roots just wither a little bit. I will be your game master today, and I am very much looking forward to getting back into our adventures in Aventuria. So the last we left off, Gorion and Tariq were skulking around the bougie rich people district in Havana, following up on a lead about the Maharani of Arania, who had arrived for the great tournament, whereas Ortlieb and Tu were speaking to the magistrate, who now has a surname because I actually looked up some names. So you are stood before Magistrate Nadia Qureshi, and she is smiling at you with this sort of knowing, definitely a villain in a Bond movie smile as she stands behind her plush chair with her
Like
hands either side.
Javier Bardem, right? Like that like sort of.
Very, very calm, collected. She feels like she's in control here. That kind of very confident smile as she looks at the both of you. And I want to resume this conversation. So she smiles at you and nods. There's a look in her eye as she looks at you two that's almost like, hey, I know you. But she looks across at the both of you. So how can I help you today?
I just say hello. My name is Ortlieb, and I don't know if I provided a brief earlier. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it yet, but I am applying to get sort of a late entry booth for the tournament, if possible. Yes. And if you don't have the brief here, I have a different presentation for you right now that has all of the same information, just slightly reorganized. And so it's got like charts and things. I don't know how you actually like do charts in like a fantasy setting, like fantasy Excel, but he's done it. And
Yep.
Carbon paper. You use lots of carbon paper and copying on parchment.
yes, I hired a scribe like late last night
Mhm.
to get all these things done. The front page, like the first third of it is illuminated.
Ooh.
And yes, and it smells, it's perfumed. I took Tarek won't mind. Tarek won't mind. I took a little bit of perfume, just a little bit. And so yes, I want to sell. I'm a spice salesman by trade, but I am working on this big selection of like sausages and sausage making, charcuterie. I can hopefully, if I have a booth that has access to fire heat, I would love to do like a deep fried preparation, kind of like this. And he gives her a sample of things. And really, I would like, in terms, I want to check in with you. How does this sound so far? But in terms of placement, I'd really love to be just sort of like near like the Noble box or whatever it is. Because I really think that this is something that, you know, everybody would like, but I really want to sort of make my name here in Havana.
At the talk of fantasy spreadsheets and charts
Yes.
and data and information
Mhm.
and really well laid out presentation, her eyes kind of light up at that talk. And when you present her with the sample of the sausage, she at first kind of looks a little, you know, dubious because she's a smart cookie. You know, you don't just take weird food off strangers. But she
It's not weird. It's sausages.
but she, you know, she takes her chance and she tries some. And for anyone who's seen the anime Food Wars, there's a very Food Wars reaction as she enjoys this sausage greatly and smiles. But I would still like you, if you would like, Emma, to roll me
Okay.
a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Right, because she can enjoy it, but she's also a businesswoman, right?
She is.
So I have
yeah.
max ranks in that.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And then I have a +3 exclamation point after it. But let's see. Roll 3d20s. Let's see. I got, so persuasion is pass. No, pass. Yes. So I got it with 7 ranks to spare.
Oof. That's
with
what
7?
Yes. I have 7 left over.
Shit.
Did good.
That's a quality level of 3. That's real good.
I'm prepped.
Holy crap.
It's the
Ortlieb,
best sausages.
best
Yes.
And
sausages,
best
the
presentation.
presentation.
Best presentation.
The most
Yes.
beautiful graphs you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
good scribe you hired.
they're
A
new.
good scribe.
I've mixed the fats and the meats from different animals. That's, you know, it's kind of like across the world, all these different things.
It's just for some important context here. We've got this amazing presentation, amazing spreadsheets, graphs, the whole thing, a good little sample and all of that. And standing slightly off to the side is a half-naked illiterate warrior. It's just there, nodding along.
You get samples too.
Yeah, all about them samples.
But like, you're really hot and you're covered in cool tattoos, so like it just adds to the ambiance.
Yeah, that's it. I'm the exotic selling point, maybe. I don't know.
Ortlieb's perspective is he's showing to like the top tier of what our culture has to offer right now. Like, this is like the most beautiful thing that we could do. It's like if we were in Vienna, you go to the opera. Here with Ortlieb, you make a sales pitch. It's beautiful.
Hey, if as long as there's still samples, two's king.
So I have to ask, what is like 2 doing here? Is he just kind of like awkwardly stood there, or is he doing like the tough guy, like cross arms, backing up, you know, like an intimidating presence, or what's he going for? What's his vibe?
He's not intimidating so much as he is just sort of off to the side observing, and he is trying to have the ear of deference, right?
Mhm.
Like he is just sort of here, and he realizes he's the odd one out. He's kind of used to being the odd one out.
Mhm.
So he just sort of is tagging along, but not proactively getting involved. He's just sort of there.
Cool. All right. And you notice definitely too, as you're sort of being a spectator to this whole thing, that Nadia's eyes just keep coming back to you every now and then. She's clearly recognized you from this, from the cult party. She's not saying anything right now, but she's kind of giving you, when someone is kind of like looking at you to be like, I know who you are. Like, are you gonna say anything? Because I'm not gonna say anything. But are you gonna? She's trying to suss you out while you're here. But nonetheless, she's very receptive to Ortlieb's presentation. She smiles broadly and she says, I might be able to get something arranged for you. It won't be the biggest stall. I can't promise you that.
That's okay.
But if location is what you're after, we can definitely try and arrange something.
Good. Yeah, no, that would be fine. I have I can work with any size space that you have. I mean, most of the things that I have are quite small. It's spices, you don't need much more than that. Yeah, I would be so honored.
Yes, I mean, I know there's quite a few people here that would definitely enjoy this cuisine you're offering. I mean, I've never tasted anything like it.
Oh, well, thank you. He's genuinely touched in a way that he's losing his composure for a second because it means so much to him.
In attendance today, at the tournament will be the Maharani of Arania. Perhaps she may be interested in what you have to offer.
Oh my goodness. I would love to. Do you know anything about what kinds of things she prefers?
Well, I can only assume as she's the Maharani that her tastes run on the more expensive side.
Understood. I can definitely have something that would suit her, I think. That'd be great. Yeah. And Ortlieb looks at two like,
I can definitely do my best at putting in a good word, but I can only go so far. I'm just a magistrate. I'm not a Maharani, as you can understand.
Yes, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Really, just the opportunity to share my wares and get to know the leaders of this community and all the others who may be in attendance is all I ask for.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
And I will certainly spread the word about your sausage, Ortlieb.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And if there's ever anything that I can do for you, just let me know.
Of course. And her eyes once again come back to you too. And she says, excuse me, sir, you seem to be quite a formidable warrior. Are you considering entering the tournament?
Now, this is an interesting question because what does that mean? Does she, as your cult leader, want you to enter? Oh.
In our discussions of our plans previously, party was two being free to take you through the sewers an important part of the plan.
Didn't you not want to go into the sewers? But we actually do need you for directions, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a weird thing because he was told it was haunted, but then the other fella said, nah, it's all lies, don't worry about it. So he sort of trusts, old mate. And saying that, I'm assuming the tournament's like quite a long thing, right? It's not just like an afternoon.
It's like across an entire week. It's worth of events,
Two sort of ponders it, and it's like, well, perhaps I assume the fighting styles here aren't something which are really catered for in your displays of physical prowess.
Well, I mean, there are many events on offer. You don't look like much of a jouster, no offense, but in the Grand Melee, it caters to all types of fighters. We've got polearm wielders, spear fighters, sword fighters, dagger fighters. No archers, that's reserved for archery, but club wielders, maces, hammers, axes, whatever you want to use, you're able to use in the Grand Melee.
Two would sort of look towards Ortlieb and goes, that would depend if I had some free time.
I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, it's up to you, really. Like, I mean, sure, I think you do wonderfully, honestly.
Then,
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Kia ora. I'll do it. Yep.
Excellent. Do you have a sponsor?
He looks back towards Ortlieb.
Me. Or at
Oh my
least
God. Oh, it's leave. I just thought you should add some of your sausages to the prize pool because then that'll make the fame of your sausage. Also, they're proteinaceous, good for warriors.
When I win the
boy
fight, be
doesn't
like,
want to eat a sausage.
it'll be a package. I can make personalized ones for whoever wins.
Hell yeah.
That can be it. So we have it's like a bespoke sausagery.
Because when I was in France on our foreign study program, one of my friends entered a local race, and because she was also an Olympic skier, she won the local race, and the prize was a basket of French preserved meats.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Like which she then sent to her family because she's a nice person. I would have just eaten all of it. But so you can totally do this, Ortlieb.
Awesome. Yes, that's what I was doing. But yes, no, I'm your sponsor, Ortlieb's Sausages and Finery. Yes. His business's name, apparently.
There we
then
go.
Two,
Yeah.
At saying that, Two would sort of just put his hand out towards that and go, unfortunately, I'm relative. I'm quite new here.
Mhm.
Ortlieb is the closest thing I have to local support.
All right. I mean, usually knights and warriors attending the tournament get the sponsorship of one of the nobility or one of the other landed knights of the area or the member of royalty, but I'm willing to look the other way on this one.
It's because Ortlieb's rich.
Ortlieb's stacked.
It's because of that.
Stacked.
Yeah, Two's happy as with that. So yeah, all right. In that case, sign me up. I'll the grand melee. It sounds like is the one for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'll have my secretary draw up a document for you, Mr. Ortlieb, for you to sign, just regarding your ownership of the booth for the length of the tournament and your sponsorship of this gentleman here. And then that will be basically everything squared away. And then once we get that, we'll have someone show you to your stall. You can set up and enjoy the tournament, I suppose.
Now
you
I feel
very
bad
much.
because she seems kind of nice.
I'm telling you, this cult's lovely. This cult's lovely. Really easy to join, but also really cliche. Which, if it's not a trap, I'll be amazed.
But she seems nice.
Yes.
What, a cliche in a fantasy story?
I mean, gay S&M blacksmiths are the ultimate cliche.
Yes, this is true. If I've watched enough 80s heavy metal music videos, absolutely.
That's what I was raised on. Okay. So is there anything else you would like to do with Ms. Qureshi before we move on the scene?
I am all done. I will back out. The only thing I want to end the scene with is the second we leave, I'm singing a song.
Hell yeah! Hit
Yes.
me with that check.
All right. I am. Okay, singing. Yeah. What's the second one? Yeah, I do it with 6 ranks to spare. So I
Jesus
sing
Christ.
a song of joy from my heart about commerce.
I will say as well, as we're leaving,
Oh.
Two would deliberately sort of hang back a wee bit and let Ortlieb go ahead right before Ortlieb breaks into song and dances down the steps of the
Yes, he
magistrate.
does.
And we sort of look back with like a knowing smile, I guess, like the same look she's been giving him, and just sort of nod his head a wee bit and then turn around and walk out.
Yeah,
So it's
she
like
returns. She returns like the. It's just two people going like this at each other.
And this is why telepathy was invented by the Black Mages.
Okay, so as Ortlieb delivers this song that warms the hearts of capitalists everywhere, we pan across the city, not too far away, in fact, to Gorion and Tariq.
And Tariq is excitedly telling Gorion about the lovely date he had today. And this time it's unlike the conversation he had with Ortlieb that night when they were cooking. This is a not very explicit conversation, right? Because he had just a lovely date, right? So he's like, oh, and we did this, and we played these carnival games, and then he said this, and then we had ice cream. And remember, he got ice cream on his, what was the detail? He got ice cream on his nose or something, and licked it off or something. So I'm like, oh my God, Gorion, it was so adorable. And he looked so good. Oh my God, he looked so good. And I'm just gushing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's great, and I know that there have been some, relationships in the past that haven't worked out for you, but Tariq, it seems like, this could work out,
I'm really excited. Remember that one guy, he was just really petrified that I'd break into the fortress of his intellect all the time.
Oh yeah.
And that happened. That's a pattern. And there was one guy who was freaked out that I didn't have memories of my father. And,
I mean, I could see how that would throw people off. But, trust is so important. And, I think you're going to be great. I think it's going to work out for you.
Yeah, I don't really mind if his brother is part of an evil cult that might be trying to bring about, this giant snake that wants to destroy the world. Because he's cool.
Yeah. And you know what? He can always be, not be a part of it. You can back out, I guess,
Yeah. Also, he's really hot.
It's both of the brothers.
I mean, both of them are hot. I mean, I'm talking about the blacksmith.
Wow. Worth it then. Yeah. Worth the shot.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, having some street food, just chatting it up.
It's a lovely bro moment, Right. We're countrymen, right? We're talking in our language. It's it's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, we walked all across the continent this way. Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye out while we're chatting for that.
I'm not
heraldry. No,
I'm not. I'm just daydreaming about date, and his muscles gleamed so nicely in the sunlight.
And because food is super important. I imagine the street food you're having is Havana takoyaki. It's little, seafood because it's
Port Town.
Yeah, it's a port town, and it's on the little convenience stick. It's it's perfect, and it's delicious.
So at my favorite restaurant in New York that closed down 2 years ago, they did this thing called garlic fried milk balls. So I'm imagining it's like shrimp, but surrounded in this milky batter that's very soft. When you bite, it becomes like a cloud. So it's on this stick, and you take them off, it melts in your mouth almost.
Delicious. Yeah. Yeah. Gorion's on his fourth
stick.
Fourth stick, yeah. Yeah. Where do I put the used ones?
In your hair.
You're right. Yeah, he's building up his protein for the tournament, getting it all in. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to just wander around the streets till we find what it is we're looking for, because I think Gorion had lost track of the carriage.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Then he knows Tariq is in his own other world. Mm-hmm. He'll keep an eye out on his friend while they're walking around and doing what they need to do.
Yeah, maybe you're relying on your streetwise or something, right?
Yeah. Let me see what my streetwise is.
Walking around I suspect this street is too narrow and the shops here are too seedy and whatever, right?
Yeah. This is the good part of town, right? All the manners and
Yeah. This is where because as much as we like to pretend otherwise, cities do sort of partition themselves off into the rich part of town, the poor part of town.
I live in Manhattan. Totally know this.
So yeah, this is definitely the higher end part of town where the shops are much fancier. They've got like silk draperies in the doorway and stuff, and there's a lot
So
more.
that means the street food we're having is like a fancy. It takes a while to
Yeah.
make this like cloud-like batter made of like milk and things.
It's
Yeah.
worth it.
I imagine you probably paid about 3 times more than you ordinarily would for it.
Oh, it leaves money.
Right.
But it was delicious.
Right.
Also, why do we always record in the afternoon when I'm most hungriest?
I made kimchi fritters for lunch right before this, so I'm somewhat sated.
Okay, but as you're walking around and just enjoying an afternoon, sort of low-key investigating, but also just taking in the atmosphere, because Havana seems to have changed with the arrival of the tournament. It's busier than it has ever been in your time here. There are people everywhere. You are hearing accents and languages spoken from all over. It is beautiful to hear. It's like a symphony around you of like a gajillion million voices. And you can see people of all walks of life and ethnicities and everything just walking around, just having a good time.
I speak 4 languages. So that's kind of nice because I'm like, oh, I know that language. Oh, I'm hearing that.
And you can hear just little bits of conversation. Some people are talking about going shopping and like buying a new dress. You hear someone being really bitchy about someone else that they're walking behind, thinking the other person doesn't understand. Someone
oh my God, look at her dress. Oh my God, why would she wear that?
Somebody bumps into you and they don't apologize, and you hear them tut under their breath and say something about what you're wearing. Like just the usual sort of stuff as you're going around. But you can't
Is it in one of our languages, like Garethi or Tulamidia?
I'm gonna say, what if it's in Bosparano? Because I speak Bosparano.
There we go.
At level 2, but it's not one of our languages.
Yeah, it is in that language, Bosparano, and it's that thing where they're pretty sure you don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
But you are like, I definitely know what
I
you
totally know
just said
what
to
you're
me.
talking about.
Yeah.
Not like I once heard someone shit talking me in French, and I was like, I know what you just
I know what it sounds like. I ask because Gorion is vain. It's one of his personal flaws, which I don't know that he would consider it a flaw. But I think he would.
Okay, so because I'm wearing guild adept clothes, right? So that's whatever. But if this person says about Garion's clothing being ugly in Bosparano, which I know Gorion doesn't speak, I turn to Gorion and I'm like, by the way, I love your outfit today. You look so nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I picked up some new duds. I got this new ring.
It's a very where'd you get that ring?
Yeah, it's a nice ring. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You look so good. I just wanted to tell you that, no particular reason why.
Thank you, Tariq. I really appreciate that. I wanted to look good for the melee. I wanted to just be.
And the new scents that we both got from the perfume store, I think they're really working. They're really good.
I like it. Yeah, I really like it. It really covers up the smell of the city.
Yeah, so much so. So much so. The smell of this city is so different from our homeland, right? Because it's a lot more fishy.
It's so wet here. It's so damp and moldy.
Right. Well, we're from this we're from this dry air, right? So the smells are incredibly different. It's also less because it's not as damp. And we're now gossiping in our language about the smells of
this.
So as you're gossiping, you kind of wander past a very fancy sort of open air store that has like silver and gold jewelry just out in trays to look at. And there's beautiful rings, there's bracelets, there's necklaces, there's even a couple like little diadems that are on little mannequin heads.
So then, Gorion, maybe you can see something that interests you.
Yes. So Gorion carries all of his wealth in the form of jewelry.
Right, and rings, right?
Yeah, rings. I got everything that they could. Like he's got bracelets, a bronze bracelet, a gold bracelet, silver. It's bronze, gold, and silver bracelets, earrings, gold and silver. He's got a necklace of gold, and then a gold and silver rings. Like he's blinged, like he wears it because he's like, this is how others know that he's legit. right? If he didn't have this, then no one would know that he's the fighter that he is or as successful as he is. So he's
also they're harder to steal, right? Because you're not just carrying a sack of coins, you're like physically wearing all this. Right?
Yeah. He's peacocking, he's strutting.
So I nudge you. I'm like, grind. Let's look at that stall. So Tarek doesn't wear jewelry because the guild doesn't let you wear a ton of jewelry. But he wants to look, so he nudges grind. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. Yeah.
Okay, you are greeted by a merchant, a young woman who definitely looks like she can handle herself. She's welcoming and warm, but there's that look in their eye that's like, you try and steal anything, I'm going to take your fucking hand off.
Yeah. Well, I hope that, I think Garayan and I look decently respectable because Garayan, it looks wealthy and I look like a black mage, right? So hopefully we don't look like ruffians.
Yeah,
no.
Garayan totally ignores any sumptuary laws or like you can't wear this color, right? He likes to look good and dress nice. And so he'll go and look for anything. They have anything with gems or jewels or anything like that? You
can see on these trays, there's like when you go to like a market and they have those trays that just full of like rings just laid out in the big
in the like divots, like the divots cut in. Yeah.
And there are tons of rings here, and they are like there's plain bands, there's bands that are engraved, ones that are like of interwoven silver and gold threads. There's gems in there of like blue, greens, reds. There's jet in here, black.
It's a port town, right? So all these different jewels. And
there's a lot as well that are just like colored glass, but they're still very, they're very shiny.
Sure. Baubles. He's gonna look for something that is local, like a local style, or with colors of the iconography or heraldry of Havina, something to remember the place.
Right.
Is what he's looking for.
So as you're looking, and maybe you ask, what is of the style here? What is
what's in fashion?
What's in fashion? Yeah. She directs you to a smaller tray of silver jewelry, as the colors of Havana are like blue, silver, white.
Nice.
And she shows you a couple of rings. There's some like really big chunky signet rings that have like encrusted with blue jewels, and they have like, I think the Havana is like let me find it. Where are you on my thing? Dang it. Sorry, 1 second.
I love our little jewelry shopping trip.
I know, right?
The symbol of Havana is a crown over a wave. So this particular like signet ring has like the wave in it, not the crown, because that's maybe a little too close to being of the sovereignty.
Right.
Oh, sure. I don't want to be pretentious.
Yeah, and then there's like another band that's got like the blue water sort of waves made in with gems and stuff like that. She shows you a bunch of stuff.
Is Garayan knowledgeable about jewelry and like gemstones and things?
Let's see. I mean, he's knowledgeable about his own, but when I look at, say, his knowledge skills, I guess it'd be either knowledge or craft. Maybe he doesn't have anything in metalworking, nothing in like he knows how to gamble and fight. So I don't think he has anything that would give him any insight into it. He knows what he likes. That's about it.
Because I have a little bit of artistic ability. I have like 4. So maybe I'm like trying to chat with you because I know you like jewelry, and this is totally just to see what we are chatting about. That's why I asked you. So I have a little bit of artistic ability. So maybe I'm chatting with you about like, oh, which style do you like? Oh, I've read about this style, and like, oh, look, that blue. Like we're chatting about like art.
Yeah, nothing too chunky. It's going to get in the way, something that is not going to get caught on anything. And then he's also got an eye out for something that might be good for as a gift. Because I feel like if we're going into the sort of the wealthy quarter, we might need to like bribe or gift someone something. And we're not going to do something as crass as give them money, right? That would be gauche. Maybe give them a necklace or ring or something like that.
So she, as you're inquiring about these things, she directs you to like a really nice looking necklace that's like almost like a teardrop shape with a beautiful, brilliant blue gem in it.
The heart of the ocean, like in
Yeah.
Titanic.
It's not
Ooh.
quite as big and as
Yeah,
gaudy
yeah.
as that, but it's delicate looking,
Okay, nice.
and looks very finely made. And as she is just holding it out to you and displaying it, you notice that around you, it's gotten quieter, as if people have sort of moved away. And you hear behind you, as you're looking at this necklace, a very quiet
Try to look
And
around.
so I'm used to people going quiet and moving away around me,
Mhm.
so I don't really notice, but Ryan might.
Yeah, it's gotten quieter. Yeah, he'll look, and if somebody's like, "Oh, I don't want to stand in the way," if somebody else wants to see, but he'll glance back and see who it is.
As you glance back, you see a excellently dressed woman. She has dark tan skin with dark hair that is pulled back, but you can tell it's long, just from the shape of it around her head. And she's wearing a beautiful fine headscarf just at the back of her hair. Her clothing is embroidered with gold thread and is in very rich, vibrant colors. On her hands, you can see she's wearing a lot of expensive looking jewelry. She has bangles up her wrists, around her neck, a very finely, beautifully made, like golden choker almost that sort of caresses her neck and then goes down into like a shoulder piece.
Mm-hmm.
And she, as you look back at her, she smiles warmly, and you kind of glance past her, and you can see surrounding her are a bunch of incredibly armored guards that are wearing similar styles to what you would see in Tulamidia.
Oh,
Excuse me.
The Mahatma.
Right.
So okay,
Yeah.
once
Is
Gerayan turns, I will turn around. And would we, together with our cultural knowledge, recognize the heraldry?
Yeah, you would recognize, and you could probably, from context clues of how she's dressed, the guards around her, and the way she's holding herself, that this might indeed be the Maharani that is stood behind you right now.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
I have a question, Susie.
Mhm.
What do you think the relationship between the guild and royalty is in our homeland? How would you imagine it?
Ooh. Well, it's how I would imagine it, and what you would know as well, right? So I think you wouldn't really know too much about the goings on between the royalty and the guild. But the fact that the guild is allowed to operate itself there maybe suggests that it's on a good standing.
Okay, cool. Sorry, were you trying to say something, Jim? I don't know if I cut you off.
No,
Sorry.
no, I'm good. You're good.
Okay, then in that case, like, she's still the queen of my country and my homeland, and even if I were a high-ranking guild mage, she's still the queen, and I'm a student, right? So I'm gonna do whatever the traditional kneeling bow is that you're supposed to give royalty. And I've been trained. I have etiquette training, so I would probably do it decently, or hopefully decently. And I nudge Garai. I'm like, because I'm educated and Garai isn't. I'm like,
He's gonna try to imitate Tariq as best he can, but he has a big 0 in etiquette. I am happy to roll if you.
Yeah,
if you
let's
would
have
like to.
etiquette rolls, because that's a skill we can roll.
I have 2 points etiquette, so it's not amazing, but it's something. 15, 12, 14. So let me make a roll. Oh, this is so exciting! An etiquette roll!
Here we go. All right. Mine is 9, 15, 10.
Okay, so second one's great. Third one's great. First one, I'm 1 point short. Oh my god. It's a new session, right? So I gain 1 karma point, fate point, right?
Yeah.
I want to impress our queen. She's my queen. She's my homeland's Maharani. So I'm gonna burn 1 of those points.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, my quality is the base quality, but I do it.
Right. Okay. And Jim, how did you do?
So my second two really good, 3 and 4, but that 18 is double his his sagacity. So I will spend a fate point to re-roll that one
Okie doke.
because not even the improve attribute ability that he has is going to save him here.
Oh no.
No, I have nothing to lower that 12 to a 9.
Okay.
So he's like, he flubs it.
Yeah.
I like to imagine the guild has its own slight variant because you have to do it with the staff. So it's like this like weird, and that isn't what normal people wouldn't do that because they don't carry the mage staff. So Gorion is trying to do this like staff bow, but he doesn't have a staff, so it looks really awkward. And, like,
Yeah. It looks awkward and weird, but she is she's been raised for this stuff. She's probably seen much worse. And so she gives she doesn't really regard you a whole much, because at the end of the day, she has no idea who you are. So she gives you like a polite little acknowledgement. And you can see just standing just behind her a step or so is a gentleman who is dressed very similarly. Who's dressed quite finely also, that you gather as you would know is her husband.
Okay.
Okay.
Is our king, is our monarch, is she the monarch and he is the
monarch.
consort?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the monarch. It's a matriarchy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they are. So is this is this like the Shahi Maharaja Shahi? That's who she, okay. So I probably recognize from like coins and stuff, right?
You would know them. Yeah, you know who they are. You probably, Gorion, would also know that he is the owner of a legendary sword.
Oh, is he?
Known as Zimatara.
Oh.
Which is a beautiful, like, legendary fucking kick-ass scimitar. It's one of the few known named weapons in the world.
Okay.
However, as you look at him, he is not wearing it.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. I mean, would he carry his like super artifact sword around the streets?
You would know from living in that area that if there was ever a public event or he was seen in public, he had it on him.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a symbol thing, right? It's
right.
I got this big sword. Like,
I mean, a sword is a fashion item just as much as jewelry.
Right.
Like, yeah. Okay. Like, I'm not sure that Gorion has the social graces to know not to say something.
Where's your sword, Maraja?
Yeah. And he's like my Maharani. I'm, and he blubs the bow. He doesn't know how, but he's got intuition, and he nailed the intuition.
I mean, you're still trying to be polite, right?
He's still trying to be polite. He knows to do it, and he's got that some charisma to him. And then he's gonna, here we go. I know what he's gonna say. He's like, all my life, forgive me. He's going to go from the Maharani to her husband. He's like, forgive me. All of my life, I've heard of your prowess as a warrior, and it's inspirational. Do you have your Zimataro? Is it here? I don't know that I'd ever be able to see such a legendary sword in my life.
okay.
Oh, this is so fun.
All right. Ooh. I would like you to roll me a perception check. See if you can gauge his physical reaction to this question.
Okay. Yeah. We've got that. I've got that. So I got 6.
An emotion quickly flashes across his face. I want to see if you can pick it up.
I also have empathy in order to like reading people's motivations and things. I don't know which.
Empathy. Let's go with empathy.
Okay. All right. So that's the same 9, 15, 10, but I actually have points to add to what I need.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, I'm always open. If you have another skill which you feel like applies better, pitch it at me.
Okay. So I will get that with 1 QL.
Nice.
Okay. There is something that flicks across his face as you say, where is your, I'd love to see your sword. Like I've never had a chance to see it. It looks like frustration, upset, a flash of anger, perhaps. as he sort of says out of one side of his mouth, I do not currently have the sword.
Oh, forgive me. I didn't know. Say no more. Say no more.
Don't tell
if you need one, I'm happy to lend you. Right? Gorian's actually going to be like, if you need a weapon, I'd be honored to, his old, notched and re-honed, his battle sword that he uses.
And this guy's a dick. So he, as you say, if you need a sword,
yeah,
and you offer it, he just clicks his fingers and takes one from one of the guards.
Of course.
I have no need of your sword, sir.
I simply wanted to make the offer. Please, I meant no offense. No offense. And he's gonna step aside if they're, trying to look at the jewel. He'll pay for what he's bought himself.
Yeah, I'd give a customary guild greeting. I just make up. The guild has all these ceremonial things, right? They're a wizard guild. They're full of ceremony.
Yeah.
So this guild greeting is like something unto the queen, whatever, long health. May the fortress of your intellect be as strong as your noble bearing, or something. There's some sort of saying, and and then I move aside with Gorian, because I'm gonna say, you know what, Tariq came from a farming family, right? So Tariq is a little bit starstruck, a little bit by the Maharani being here, and I'm like, oh yes, may there, blah 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 blah, and then I move aside, and I'm kind of gaping at them while trying not to openly gape too much.
Right.
Yeah, and the Maharani and her husband, he is quite stoic and standoffish. There's people coming up to him and trying to, give him things, and he's shooing them away. He's not interested. And the Maharani herself is, she's perusing the wares at the stall, and she's been quite gracious. The store owner is trying to give her stuff, and she's just like, no, not trying to take stuff. The store owner, however, does give her a diadem and refuses any sort of payment, and the Maharani is, very gracious, and she's accepts the gift. And her gaze passes across the both of you again, and she smiles and nods in acknowledgement at the both of you. And her husband sort of, at you, Gorian, in particular, gives a hard look that he's I'm acknowledging you and sussing you a little bit before they move on through a little procession through this marketplace. And the chatter around you immediately resumes into oh my god, and people are just
and that is entirely my reaction to Gorian as well. I'm like, oh my god, that was the Maharani, what the hell, oh my god,
So Gorian dresses in sort of the Iranian style, even though he's himself sort of of mixed ethnicity in terms of Parakum and Irania, but I like to think he helped Irania sort of win their independence that recently, right? And so he's dressed in that style of a partisan or a warrior, like a guerrilla fighter, or guerrilla, so I don't know if that, maybe he recognizes me from that. At least that's what Gorian's thinking, But otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to stop him from leaving, Although, while Tariq is freaking out, do you think you could? No, that surely can't.
Wait, are you telling Tariq that? Or are you telling the
Yeah. He's trying to. Yeah, he's about to say, "Could you break into the fortress of their?" But he catches himself before he.
Yeah, I don't realize what you're trying to say. I'm just wait, what? Oh my god, we spoke to them. She smiled at me. Oh my god, she smiled. I'm gonna have to tell all my friends at the university, at the guild. It's gonna be wild. They're gonna be so jealous. Oh my! I'm gonna tell Wolfgang.
I never thought. What are they here for?
Also, why did you give him your sword? You don't offer Rajas your sword. It's not good enough.
It was the first thing that came to mind.
Why do you think he didn't have his sword though? That's kind of weird though, right?
It is weird.
Now we're in celebrity gossip territory. Now
Yeah.
that we're the starstruck part, we're now
you
we're
can
like,
hear a few people too whispering around, well, where's Scimitarra? Like, he should have that sort. Like, I can't believe he's not wearing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the
like,
gossip around.
Ryan, what? Actually, could we engage some of the Hindustani and Iranian people around us and start picking, hey, have you heard any rumors about why the king? Because they saw us speak to him, they saw them reply to us, which is kind of a big deal. And I'm a black mage, and Grind looks wealthy. So like, yeah, we want to like gossip with people and be like, have you heard rumors?
Yeah.
I'd say there's a group of young Iranian people who are kind of like stood chatting after this encounter, and as you approach, they kind of be like, did she say anything to you? You were speaking to her, like, what did she say?
And so I don't, Tariq isn't one to lie a lot, so he wouldn't be like, oh my god, she told me all these things. But I'm like, well, she didn't say that much, but she smiled and acknowledged my greeting when I gave her the guild greeting, and that's kind of cool.
Just the smile alone is worth it.
And they and they told us they don't have Zimitara on them.
Wait, I thought it was really strange. I mean, I heard things, but I didn't think it was real. Like, you hear gossip coming out of the palace all the time, like.
I mean, the Scimitar is real. The guild, and this is really funny because I'm, supposed to be this guild, black mage guild. I'm like really gushy right now, and I'm like, well, the guild seniors every 2 years go and check on the sword. It's part of their duty is they have to like. I don't really know because I'm not senior, but they have to go and check on the sword. So it is real and it is cool. I've never seen it. But do you think he didn't bring it on a foreign trip? No, he'd bring it on a foreign trip, right?
No, he'd bring it. And I mean, I know it's real. I've seen it. And it's beautiful jeweled scabbard. It's just this, it's the best, the most beautiful sword I've ever seen.
Why wouldn't he have it?
I heard. And the person I'm talking to does I heard it was stolen.
Stolen? Who could steal it?
And then that echoes to me in my head of our friend Fariha, because her sword is also stolen. And there's like a parallel there. And so suddenly I'm a bit like, all this time I was like a bit starstruck and gushy. And now I'm a bit like, huh.
Yeah, I heard, because they've got like children, right? They've got adult children. I heard that one of their children stole it.
And yeah, we both have been traveling for a while, so we don't know what's happening in politics, right? So we're like, huh.
When?
Oh, a little while back now. Maybe a year or so?
Yeah, we've been traveling for longer than that.
Yeah,
so
I mean, they've tried to keep it, quiet and on the down low because I mean, it's Scimitar, right? It's a symbol. It's a whole thing, and the fact it's just gone is.
That's troubling. And then he's gonna like share a glance with Tariq about like raise a bit of an eyebrow about stolen sword.
Yeah, and Tariq's like, I know what you're thinking. Literally, I know what you're thinking.
The door to Garayan's mind is always open.
The drawbridge is like down.
Take a look around. There's nothing in there. And so he's gonna like think I'm weighing. Garayan's weighing his options of like following them, but given that they're surrounded by guards, he kind of is thinking like it'd be difficult to do.
And I say, this could be something we investigate, perhaps. So as we leave those gossipers, we're like, thanks. Oh, and we like share some celebrity salacious gossip. And then as we leave, I'm like, we could, like, if this cult is collecting a important tribute for their like serpent god, this could be something, or even if they're not related, they might know that they're collecting secrets, right? We might be able to learn something, because it's odd that these two special weapons, it's coincidence that they're both special swords are missing at the same time, and we learn about them both.
Certainly, and certainly from people from our part of the world.
Yeah, exactly from the same part of the world. Yeah.
Did we happen to get a look, or maybe actually, let me rephrase this. Tariq, did you see the Maharani? Did she react whenever I asked about Scimitar?
Did I, Susie?
Roll me an empathy. We'll do a delayed check.
Yeah. 15, 12, 4. So empathy. 3 dice. Okay, so sorry, I have to see my last one. Empathy is 15, 12, 14, and I have 5 points. So that does succeed, yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's something she caught a glimpse of that conversation, and there was a little twinge in her face that had it was upset. It was recalling a negative emotion, not necessarily anger or frustration, but a hurt and upset.
Yeah. So I describe that to go. I'm going to say the black mages have very specific ways of describing emotions. So I can very eloquently tell you, this is the emotion I saw flitter across her face.
Right. Okay. All right. So not that, but this. Okay. So they both are surprised, or at least
are upset about this.
Upset,
so maybe they just don't want to talk about it because it is an important thing. What would you say? What would the king say? What would the Raja say if the sword's gone? They don't want to talk about it. Maybe so.
Especially if the rumors say it's one of their children.
Yeah, that shows internal strife going on. They don't want that.
Do you think they're here to get it?
Are the children here? Have we heard rumors of the princes and the Rajkumar and the Rajkumaris? Are they here?
You have not heard about any of their children in particular being here for this tournament.
Okay.
It might be incognito.
Or, they could just. On the one hand, they just have to be here, so they're here without the sword because it's a big tournament. They just have to show up, or they're here also. It is interesting that could they be here to seek knowledge from the temple as well? That could also be a possibility.
Tariq, I just had a brainwave.
Yeah.
You used your powers to look into Fariha's memories.
Right? A long time ago, yeah. Not a lot, like a week ago or whatever, yeah.
This youth that was talking about Scimitar described the sword to you. I would like you to make me let's see.
God.
Is there a memory check? There isn't, is there?
Let's see. I'm looking at my willpower?
Yeah, let's go willpower to try and recall that flash of the sword you saw.
Yeah. I think willpower seems to fit. Yeah, okay. So my willpower probably pretty good. Yep, 14, 12, 14 is pretty good. Okay. Oh God. I totally fail. I only have 5 points. Yeah, I fail.
Okay, you fail. You.
Oh wait, you know what? I want to use my last arcane point because this sounds like a juicy moment. Not arcane energy, karma point, fate points. So I have 0 fate points now.
Okay.
This is a cool plot moment.
Yeah, this is a cool moment. So as this youth is describing this sword to you, this beautiful talwar in the jeweled scabbard, the hilt is finely engraved and jewel encrusted, with that great big, awesome talwar pommel on it. And the blade, which is inscribed with writing down the blade etched into it. It's the real good shit. Something clicks in your mind that you have seen this sword.
Love it. Okay, so I want to be I'm talking to Grind and we're talking about this sword, right? And I'm going to say the click happens here as I'm like, it's strange and then I'm like, I wish I could see the sword. That description that the guy had was so cool. I start re-describing it, but the active me re-describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, this one. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm like an open book, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. So especially with Grant, who knows me, you can see like my like eyes grow wide, my jaw drops, and I'm like,
You seen it?
Gorion?
Is it Fariha's?
That description is exactly Fariha's sword.
No. How many? Surely not. Surely not.
Who saw Fariha's sword?
All right, it was you. All right, okay.
Oh my! Wait, we have to ask Fariha how she got the sword.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Now,
go find
we
her.
should go immediately. Yeah, this is really important. We need to find Fariha, and we're like, Fariha, dear, where did you get this sword? Because I don't know if she told us, right? She just said,
She
I have
did
this
not.
cool sword. I just have this cool
Yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, she is not a Rajkumari of, Mahandistan. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I would say at this point, then you head out looking for Fariha, and just for ease of storytelling, you bump into Ortlieben too randomly in the
Perfect.
street.
We're not that far
Oh.
from each other.
we have so much to tell you.
my God.
Oh, wow, you're out of all your sausages. What happened?
We
So hungry.
we had business presentations. They went very well. We have a booth in one of the best spots in the tournament, and you tell them your news.
I'm gonna have a scrap in the tournament.
Okay, well, that's cool because we literally bumped into the Maharaja and Maharani of Mahandistan.
You bumped into them.
And get this, and I like pull everyone closer. The Maharaja has this legendary artifact sword, right? And he always wears it, but he wasn't wearing it. And I realized that sword was the same one I saw ensconced in the fortress of Fariha's intellect. Her sword that was stolen is actually the royal sword of my country.
Yeah.
What?
Right? Hand me a sausage. I need to eat something.
Yeah.
He
We've
gives
been
you
eating.
produces sausages. There you go.
And I'm like, okay, so this is huge, and we need to find her. And like, what is going on here? There's something much bigger going on here with the cult and the royal family.
Does
because,
that mean
like,
that she was lying to us, or did she?
well, she
how could
didn't
she
know.
not know?
I think
Well,
she knew.
I
didn't
thought
know.
was she not from the same
Right,
place?
but not everyone has seen the sword. They just know it's an epic sword, right?
Yeah.
How did?
That's why I want to see it.
Do we think she's royalty?
I
And the family she was supposed to kill is them?
don't know. That's why we need to go find her.
Oh, two. The plot
mean,
thickens. I don't
can't
know if
think
it
of
is
a
true or
better
not, but I'm
sacrifice.
going with it.
Right? Like, I mean, you could like sacrifice little old Fariha's family or sacrifice noble Fariha, like royalty family. That's a bit of a
We need to go find her and
Mhm.
get some answer, because this is not just now. This is not just a cult. I mean, we were concerned about them, but now this is engaged in like international geopolitics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
had,
didn't you do the thing?
You
Why do
can't
we need
break
to-
into the fortress of the intellect of the royal family,
No,
too.
no,
Don't you
it's
know
a
any
free-
intellect?
Carl,
No, intellect,
to
etiquette.
Fariha. Do you
Oh yeah, that's how I know
everything?
it's the sword, because I saw it.
Do you know who her family is?
No,
Well,
I didn't break that deep. She was unconscious.
so hold on. I always assumed that when you break into someone's head, you know everything.
No. It's
Yeah.
it's surface thoughts first, and then you have to spend more time and effort to grow deeper into them.
You see two visibly relax.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm only a student too. Like I'm not one of the professors. The professors, they're a whole different level. Like I have no secrets from my professors. They know every embarrassing thing. They know the first time I got caught wanking. They know all the most embarrassing things about me completely.
You're just trying to get Grant to shorten this episode.
Just the most traumatic educational process. It's rough.
At least they let me keep that memory.
So what's the plan, gang?
We should find Fariha, I think. And I turn to Garayan.
Yeah, we should talk to her.
Okay. Let's do it.
Can we do that without you messing up your stall business right now?
Oh, I mean, I do have some stuff to do. Like I can get set up pretty soon, right? Okay. Yeah, no, I need to Garayan, you were fraternizing with children before. Do you think that they might like
a job, right?
To work at a booth?
I don't think so. I wouldn't put them around any legitimate business.
You don't think they just need a chance?
That's if you want to take that chance, I won't stop you, Orly.
No, I mean,
they
seem
had
like
you
a
for a
sensible
mark.
person.
They were like, we're gonna get this guy.
Well, that's fucking ridiculous. They're not going to do that.
No,
but
I just wouldn't give him a chance. But
I do kind of need some hirelings. I think, like, Tariq, does your blacksmith maybe want to help me do things? I don't know.
He's a blacksmith. I don't think he'll be. I mean, if you're setting up in the rich part of town, he's not. He has a talented mouth, but not in talking to rich
I thought
people.
The muscles might like
make a difference.
I mean, he can be a booth bro. He could totally be a booth bro.
I need a booth bro.
Don't get him. He's again. He has a talented mouth, but not in like etiquette terms, right? So just don't get him to say stuff to the rich people.
He can he can hold out the samples. He can just be in charge of the samples.
Yeah, I can get him to dress up in the leather and like oil him up a bit. He can like gleam if he's willing, of course.
That sounds like it's in line with my business plan.
This is the greatest stall I've ever heard. It's going to be manned by the Artful Dodger.
It's going to be
babe.
It's like. So at Costco, occasionally these people come and they sell different kinds of kielbasa, and the booths are always manned with the most like middle-aged like assistant soccer coach dads. It's gonna be like that, but everybody's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like what's the clothing store? The stereotypical one with the shirtless dudes all the time.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Abercrombie, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like you have the muscular blacksmith, but he's serving you his salami.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm gonna get my sausage man friends to help.
A guy at some Renaissance fair style tournament and like oiled up, fucking greased up in his BDSM gears, serving sausage is probably what I imagined the first time I heard of a German RPG.
Also, we can
all we
see
need now is like a heady beer, and we're there.
We can see if his brother is also interested in helping, because the brother is also hot, right? He's a lumberjack.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Grant. We're gonna have to cut all of this.
No, clip it, and that's our next promo clip.
It's our Patreon bonus content. I am so down for this. I'm gonna ask Wolfgang later, and I'm gonna ask if Max would join. And of course, I'm like, it's a paid gig. I'm not gonna obviously, right?
Yes.
And it'll get you in on it'll get him in the prime areas of the fair, because poor people aren't often they're allowed or socially allowed in the rich areas. He will be in the rich area, wearing not much, eyes all on him, the breeze of the rich people fluttering against his skin, causing goose pimples.
One potential spinner in that works, right? The cult knows you're looking for them, all right? And the cult now knows Ortlieb and two are hanging out. And the cult knows who two is. So especially the brother knows who two is. Mm-hmm. So if you get the brother and the blacksmith involved, that now creates a link between the people who are looking for the cult and the guy who just joined the cult, which they probably already know are related. But I mean, at that point, we have to assume they're related, in which case two going back to the cult's very dangerous for two. And,
then don't bring the brother in. Just put the blacksmith there. Because I really want this to happen still.
Okay. Sounds good.
But don't bring the lumberjack, just the blacksmith.
Yeah. No.
And I want to secretly hire someone to do like an etching of him at the booth, so I can keep it for later.
You get like a woodcut.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good at memory magic, so I can just summon up with the memory later, but it doesn't matter. I want this like woodcut of my blacksmith serving his sausage.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very
Okay.
good.
All right, but no, I think that we can do this, and I can also set up the booth, and this is all comfortably in Ortlieb's whatever the word is. I forget what it is. He knows how to do this.
Yeah, it's in his wheelhouse.
There you go. It's the House of Wheels. There you
House
go.
of Wheels.
Yeah.
So Altleaf's House of Wheels is spinning as we set up this stand, and it's like that episode in the anime where all the school kids come together to make the yakisoba stand to save the school. But instead we've got, children and a hot blacksmith and a lot of sausage. Meanwhile, you are looking for Fariha, and you find her, in fact, back at your property that you had purchased. She is basically just relaxing after a day spent in the city. And she's quite surprised to see all four of you just walk in at once.
So I'm like, Ortlieb, offer her some food. You're muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'll do that.
To butter her up a bit, like literally.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, Fariha, we might have a lead on your sword.
Oh?
Can you tell us how you acquired that sword?
Not quite.
So I mean, you can't tell us or you won't tell us?
A little bit of both.
Would you please tell us how you acquired that
Yeah.
sword? Because we might have a lead on finding it.
And she kind of looks at you suspiciously like, what do you know? You know something. What do you know?
What do you want?
I
to
know a
is
lot
who
of
do you fuck a
things.
papa? Who's your family, Al?
Yeah, who's your family?
I love how two just like screams that out as I'm trying to be like,
And she, like, at this sort of questioning, she knows the jig is up, right? And she just goes, oh. I see that you have seen my mother and father then.
Oh shit, Grimes the bow.
Rajkumari! Oh my god! And I'm too nonplussed, and I think about doing the weird bow again, and I'm like, should I do the bow? I don't know, and I'm like,
So, as you're like in between doing the bow, like, see, this is why I don't tell anyone. Don't do the
Don't do the bow.
don't.
Oh.
okay, and I'm also like, Fariha I've known, but that starstruckness is suddenly coming in again. But but we know her, so I don't know how to react to this.
Yeah. This changes us so much because it's like we were like, oh, she's just a former cult member who needs some help, but now we're like fucking around with international and the royal courts and
I'm like slightly hyperventilating at in one corner, like,
And she stands up and she does like a really formal over the top bow. I am Princess Amani of Arania. You've caught me.
Ortlieb bows on reflex. He can't help. He can't not do it.
well, your family's here.
Gathered for the tournament.
Yes. Well, I couldn't say. They ran into us, really.
She's like, what?
Well, I got a new ring, and I bought a gift for someone. I don't know who yet, but but yeah, they were there. They got a crown. Well, your dad's very mad about that sword.
I thought he would be.
Yes, I'd hope to see it because.
and then I
I'd heard about
suddenly
it.
swear in Tulamidia, and I'm like, oh my god! But in Tulamidia, much coarser curse that I haven't used since I was a child because you don't do that. And I'm like,
She's like,
I broke into the fortress of the Rajkumari's mind without asking.
Drink, everyone.
Because normally I break into everyone's fight, but it's different with the royal family. You can't just.
Yeah,
it's
isn't
not
that a
done.
crime?
Yeah, it's not done exactly. You don't just break into the fortress of a royal person's mind, right? And so I go beet. I can't go beetroot. I'm too brown for that. I go slightly red, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I'm gonna be expelled. I'm gonna be expelled.
What are they going to say? That you broke into the cultists' mind? Like, it'll be okay. Tariq. It'll be okay. Besides, if we can get it back, then that might cover all our sins.
And I'm looking at Fariha, who it's hard for me not to think of her as still as Fariha.
She like comes over, puts her hands on your shoulder, and she's like, relax.
Yeah.
Remember, guys,
Okay.
I'm like 18 years old, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like,
There we go. Deep breath in. Out.
So
Okay.
do you I guess you don't want to see your parents, right?
Oh, I imagine that I'm in for quite the bollocking if they catch me.
love that bollocking, Susie. I love that.
Mhm.
Sorry, that was a very Englishism that came.
Love it. Love it.
Ooh, okay, so that means we can't tell that we don't want to tell them you're here.
No, they don't know about the cult either. At least I don't think they do.
Okay,
Oh,
that
oh.
answers one of my questions.
I
Oh,
just-
glorious Rajkumari of the desert sun, may I be so impertinent as to inquire upon your person as to how and why you acquired the most royal of swords from the glorious son of the desert, your father, the
I
Raja.
told you how she was going to kill them for the cult, and now they're here, and the cult's going to do it with the sword that we've lost.
Do they
Okay.
have to do it with the sword?
Did you see the
It
sword
sends a
too?
message though, doesn't it? Right?
It does send a message, yes. I'd taken the sword because, well, I'd been asked to by the cult, and I was allowed to wield it. Then they sent me the orders to kill my family, and I refused. And then I thought that I would use the sword to, cut off the head of the snake, as it were. As research goes on, that might actually be literally a snake, but I thought I could use it to, cleanse the world of this cult. But clearly, that hasn't gone quite to plan.
Yes.
Oh, glorious
sense.
Rajkumari of the desert, whose radiance blossoms within you. What is your will as to how we should proceed next?
She turns and she's like, "For the love of everything, Tariq, please just call me Faria."
Yeah. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, glorious Fariha of the desert.
Just
It's Fariha.
Faria.
I have two questions for Riha.
Mm-hmm.
The first, I will preemptively apologize for the second one, but let me
Okay.
answer. Let me pose both you. One, it seems logical to surmise that your parents are currently in danger. Don't you think it might be better with you there to protect them? And my second question is, if you do happen to see them, do you think you might recommend my sausages?
I love how Tariq and Ortlieb have both these very different reactions to Garayan and Liam. Sorry, Garayan and two.
I wasn't ready for that. I should have been, but I wasn't.
I'm playing the character as it unfolds itself to me. I'm sorry.
I think to begin with, the first question, she's clearly in thought about thinking the best way to go through it. Then you ask her to recommend the sausages, and she laughs, and it's like a real tension-breaking belly laugh. Before she sort of composes herself and says, "I suppose I should go apologize to my parents and perhaps stand by them and make sure at least while I'm there nothing happens to them. And trust me, Ortlieb, if we all survive this, your sausages will be famous throughout the entire world. Trust me."
But now we really need to find the sword, and we
But
really need to
yes.
stop this cult.
The sword is vital. I have a terrible feeling that they're planning something during this tournament. I mean, the Prince of Havana will be here in attendance on the main day for the joust. He'll be here. My parents are here. Godness knows who else has come here that's powerful and wealthy. If they're planning something, this is a good time to do it. If they want to take out nobility and royals from across the land, then this is the place.
Is there
I've seen
like
your secret? I seen your secret in the book. The symbol, the symbol for that was you, eh?
It was me.
We need that book, Fardo. We go
We
that
need to
book.
take that book.
In the book, we'll be able to figure out from there who has that sword.
Do we know, is there like an Olympic style like ceremony at some point in the tournament? Like at the end on the last day, like celebrating where all the nobles will be or something?
Yeah, so on like the last day, there'll be the final of the joust. That's when the
Okay.
champion is declared. That's when the champion gets the prize. They get all the glory, and then there'll be like a huge feast.
So that I tell you, so I'm she did calm me a little bit, so I'm feeling a little bit like calmer, even though I'm still a bit like, oh my god. I'm like, well, if what you say Fariha, if what you say is true, do you think that could be a time where they're thinking of striking, where all the nobles will be present? You know the cult better than anyone except two, maybe, in this room. It is true, though. It's she knows the most, and you know the second most, and then the three of us know the least.
See, I haven't been involved with any of the preparations for anything. I just got my orders on where to go and what to do. But at most that I know that if they're seeking to disrupt things, if they're seeking to really cause some damage, then most likely at that feast.
Okay, so we have like 5 days or something, right? To do
The feast will
this.
be on the last day, yes.
I think.
Well,
Go ahead.
two has an idea. They said they'd get in touch with me about earning my mark. So how about they expecting me to be with Ortlieb? How about Ortlieb and I continue with the masquerade, and then hopefully they'll reach out to me and we'll get an idea around their plans. And in the meantime, I think we need that book.
I think we need to be proactive more than just wait for them. We need to four of us go and get that book.
We need to get that book.
We don't know exactly where the book is. It might be in the temple, under the temple.
Is
So
there?
if anyone
Could be with the
has
magistrate.
it's the magistrate whose name I've forgotten. It's her.
Do you
Nadia
think
Qureshi.
That one.
should we? And this is I don't know because I don't know what the customs here are and stuff in terms of the ecclesiastical hierarchies and workings. Do we talk to the high priest, the one who's not from this cult, like the legit high priest of the knowledge goddess? Do we talk to him? Do we get his help? Do we inform him anything?
I mean, it seems possible, like if this thing is meeting right in the same place, it might be that he totally knows and was totally lying to us.
So you don't think we should? I mean, I could break into the fortress of the intellect.
Good.
Like, and really, again, it's really weird maybe to an outsider, but the black mages have no qualms on breaking into anyone else's brain. But the royal family, no, it's not done. It's not okay.
I mean, if you think that you could without any, potential retribution, I suppose.
I mean, he might find out he is a knowledgeable priest of magic. Like, this is the goddess of magic, so he might know that I did that. So he probably will know that I did that. So if you think we can trust, if you think we can't trust him, then we shouldn't. But he might be able to help us. Like if we need to find out where the book might be, or he might just know a bit more about the cult. Especially if we tell him it's like a matter of they're gonna try and kill important people and stuff.
Possibly. I mean, honestly, like if I was thinking, I think we should probably search the offices or the home of the magistrate. If she seemed like she was in charge too.
Okay, so not the temple. You think she might have the book with her?
What do you think, too?
Or it's either there or in the temple.
Okay.
We could always have. He indicates towards Gorion. We could always get his little kids to go and look and see if they've seen her coming and going with a book.
That's what I was going to say.
Where she goes.
I was going
the
to.
groundwork.
Yeah.
And if the book's not at her whare, then we'll go into the totally not haunted sewers, and we'll go down there. We'll figure it out.
Fine.
Yeah, and I remember, I think last time we confirmed with my magical lore that, oh yeah, this is totally haunted. They're totally like curses and ghosts there. I think we established that
that's right.
it's not just like a myth. Oh yeah, there's totally a curse there.
No.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good idea. We can like send our squad to
Mhm.
like do some reconnaissance at the magistrate's house.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. That and have them on hand the day of the grand tournament, like in the crowd, to sort of cause a distraction if we think something's about to go down. That was the other thing I was thinking of getting them to get set up for, but that's still days away.
And also on
yeah.
the day, if it gets to this point, and we get to the point where we're on the day and we haven't got the sword or whatever, we have a very good excuse for Ortlieb and myself to be close to this nobility. And I have an idea of what some of these people look like. I have a sneaking suspicion if any of them were going to go take them out, I probably have already met the guy. We'll
Yes.
keep an eye on.
Okay. So the only thing is, if the book goes missing within the 5 days, do you think how will they react? Like, will they? I don't know.
Oh, they'll panic. They'll go to shit. But that's good because then they're reacting.
Right, and then they might not be able to do the killing or assassination and stuff. Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
they'll
we
probably
need to
still
move
try
on
to
them.
be
Yeah.
messy. And we'll have the initiative. And if there's any
Great.
trouble-
Yeah, that's good.
Two's
And
right.
I trust that because Garayan and Tu are the warriors, right? They're the ones who take decisive action. So
do
when
it.
they give a plan, I'm like, okay, they know what they're on about. So yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Saying that, if we could just get them to leave, the royals, that would probably make life easier. Yeah, it's probably the least convoluted plan.
Yeah.
But that doesn't what's it called? It doesn't stop their plot at the root, right? They're gonna try and
No.
kill the royals another time and summon the giant snake or whatever.
I forget. Did we let the Hasinde, the main line, the Orthodox Hasinde, like, did we tell them about the Order of the Adder?
They told us about it.
They
told.
knew
Okay, that's
about
right.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right.
as far as I
does make
know,
sense.
You didn't tell them that the Order of the Adder is literally beneath their
Yeah,
temple.
we did
because
not
that was
tell
what
them.
Tu found out while she was speaking to the
Right, we didn't know that at the
high
time.
priest. But yeah.
Might be worth telling them.
That's what I was like. Can we trust the high priest? I have Tariq is very naive, right? He's 18. He's naive. He's like, of course. Why would anyone lie? I can just break into their mind if they lie. So Tariq believes he should, but that's why he asked, Ortlieb, who is one of the shrewdest of us, as this like business person, right? So that's why I was like, Ortlieb, what do you think? But also, Ortlieb is the most cynical as well as a business person.
Cynical? No.
Okay.
Do we know that the priest has nothing to do with it, though? Because I've seen a whole bunch of people at that cult meeting, and none of them look particularly priesty to me. I mean, the leader of the whole thing's a magistrate.
Right. True.
Yeah.
True.
So when you were doing that, we were talking to the priest.
Right. True. So maybe it's worth risking and talking to the Hasinde priest, the high priest.
Yeah, especially if we're going to be sneaking around underneath their temple.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
But the downside, though, is if he is connected,
Yeah.
then they get spooked.
let me see if I
It's-
can wipe his memory.
Personally, it just strains some credulity that you would have this big social meeting right under his nose and he would have no idea.
He seemed rather bookish.
What? Yeah, but I mean, it was what, like dozens of people
Nope. I
with snacks and everything.
I'm not yet schooled in
If it's
mind
in the
wiping.
catacombs, they might not know what's happening.
Oh, maybe. I suppose. I mean,
I think maybe we tell him after we've ruled out that the book is under that temple.
Yeah, we got to get into the temple.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that first, and then that's
Yeah.
a good idea. Yeah.
for Riha, do you need any moral support with sort of, revealing yourself to your parents like I?
Would you like us to accompany you?
Yes.
Oh, does I mean Fariha?
I think this is something I should probably do on my own. I mean,
Okay.
as well, my father is a wrathful man. I don't want to implicate any of you.
Okay. That's all right. It's just if you ever need somebody to talk to, I had training when I went to fantasy business school. I also took some fantasy counseling classes, and so I can help.
I love how we have to add fantasy to everything, as though
Right.
business and counseling cannot exist in a
They
fantasy
don't.
world without fantasy.
Yeah. I have some ranks in fantasy, CBT. I can.
Treat
work
soul
your
is a skill, right?
It is.
Like,
I have almost
soul.
max ranks in treat soul.
treat soul. Yeah.
Wait, really? Does it
Yeah,
treat
really.
soul
If you read the
skill?
description, it's kind of like therapy.
It's kind of like therapy.
Love it. I love that. No, that's actually good that it exists in a mechanic way, because that shows that the designers feel that therapy is an important part of
Yes.
the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the
also-
skills in this game. There's
Yeah.
so many cool ones.
It's particularly true that I think it's accurate for Ortlieb to have it, because my therapy is definitely often comes in sausage form.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
to be fair, my therapy also comes in.
There it is. That's
Should have
the
seen that
quote.
coming.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, I literally worked through a very difficult time in my life by learning to make sausages, like in real life. I'm not.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. In fact, if we are retiring for the night because it's evening, I'm so like not flummoxed. I can't think of the right word. I can think of the word in French, but not in English. But I'm so like overcome by all this new information and blah blah blah. I'm thinking of the word bouleversé, right? I'm like whoop, overturned. I will go find blacksmith, and I'm like, I'm going to like, whatever. I'm gonna have a good night with you and take out some of my like energy, because now there's a lot on my mind. And then ask him if he wants to be a booth bro.
Okay. And Fariha leaves to go speak to her parents. And she basically says to you, Ortlieb, I might need to take you up on that when I get back.
Okay.
And then she like takes a sausage too, just in case.
So it's motivational sausage.
Mhm.
Yes, he'll give her some pretzels and stuff for the road, extra things. And if I'm not here, then I'm at the booth, and I'll draw her a little map of where the booth is.
And she departs. Tariq hangs out with his blacksmith, who agrees to be a booth babe by the end of the night. Liam.
I was going to ask, as soon as Fariha leaves,
Mm-hmm.
Two asks everybody, do we trust her?
No, of course not.
Of course, she's the Mari's daughter. How could they? I mean, she seems
Okay.
trustworthy.
Am I there when you ask us this too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she walks out, and as soon as she's gone, like Two's like, see ya, watches her walk out the door. Do we trust her, Fanu?
I think for me, it's not a question of trust. It's the Rajkumar. You obey the Rajkumar. So I'm like, I mean, what?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Hearing Ortlieb say that, that's enough for Two. Two's going to follow her and see where she's going and make sure she is going to go and actually fucking do the thing. And he's going to be all sneaky beaky about it.
All right, let's have a sneaky beaky check.
Also, if I'm doing my date, I went ahead and rolled an arcane recovery roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Stealth. Okay. Yeah, easy. Oh, what's that first one? Courage. Yeah. Oh yeah, relatively comfortably. That leaves me with that's 2 quality levels.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. I am gonna roll for Fariha as she's making her way through town. Jeez.
So this was a twist that I did not see coming. I'm so excited.
Mhm.
Since day
Yeah.
one, baby. Okay, so you can clearly tell too, as she's moving through the streets, that she is trying to stay away from very populated streets. She's trying to take alleys. You know, she's trying to take a quiet way through town, and you are suspicious as she doesn't seem to be immediately heading towards the area which you know to be where the nobility and the royalty are staying. She does in fact head to the temple district. and she does in fact head to the temple of Hasinde, and but she doesn't enter via the secret entrance that you had been in previously. She walks straight up the front into the front doors. Do you follow her in there?
It's going to be hard to do without being seen.
You should totally follow her in there.
Look, man, fortune favors the brave. All right. If Tim's learned anything, just being bullshit and BDE your way through everything works. So yeah, fuck it. he's gonna follow her in. Yeah.
Okay. You see in this temple there is a it was, set up much like a library, but there's a kind of quiet area, almost like a prayer area, and you can see her there, and she's clearly praying. She's doing something, she's having a quiet moment to herself, and she doesn't interact with anyone. But she's taken this time to do something with herself. She's having this quiet, like, meditative moment, and she heads to a couple of the other temples, the little shrines around nearby, and gives offerings, burns a bit of incense here in one, and lights a candle in another, says a quick prayer in another. She's basically trying to get all the gods she can on her side at the time. This is the 12 gods. And you could clearly see that she is anxious. Her body language is very different. But then she heads towards the sort of rich district. And she, as you're watching her and observing her, walks straight up to one of the guards bearing the heraldry. And you hang back just enough to hear her conversation, but she addresses them with her full title.
Oh, the radiant sun of the desert.
And you can see the guard for a minute be like, fuck off. And then she sort of like pulls her headscarf back a little to reveal her face because it had been kind of obscured forward. And the dude almost like falls over backwards. He's like, oh shit. And the body language of the men completely changes. They're all bowing in deference to her. And she herself, she straightens herself up, head back, shoulders back. And she walks into where her parents are staying.
So exciting.
Okay. Two might find a posse somewhere and just post up just to see if she is actually in a position to leave at any point, or to see what happens. Like, does she get dragged back out in chains? What? I don't know. Expecting her fully to. He's maybe going to be sitting there all night with nothing to show for it. But it's just in case.
So I think just for maximum juicy drama, there's like a balcony. And you can see on the balcony the Maharani and the Shah are there, and you see this third figure approach, and you can't hear the exact words, but you hear a lot of shouting, you hear an argument, you hear sounds of a confrontation, of a parent giving their kid absolute shit for being a dickhead. And she's arguing back. You can hear her voice on the wind too. Like, it's a full on, like, massive to-do. But they seem to, after a while, head back into the building. A couple of the guards that were stood outside have also gone into the building. But you don't hear or see anything else of Fariha for the rest of the night. Or for however long you hang outside.
I think he'd linger for a wee while, and then after a couple of hours, he'd make his way back to the others, and probably after they're all in bed, I imagine, and go to bed himself.
Okay. Ortlieb and Garain, is there anything you are doing this evening while Tu is out and Tariq is out?
Garain's going to go see if he can't find some of the street urchins. I know I have named Sasha as the person who sent the kid that we met the night before, but I don't have that kid's name. I don't remember their name. Even if they gave it to me.
I don't think they ever gave it to you, but we'll call that kid Jeff.
Sure.
And you as almost like little Jeff was expecting you. You see him sat there flipping a little coin and catching it in the air.
All right, now my mind has gone blank because we were going to ask them something about if they knew, and my mind is just
We were going to
like,
ask them about spying on the magistrate.
That's
Yeah, and
right,
the
yeah.
books.
Yes,
If
thank you very
anybody
much.
had a
Thank
big
you.
book.
Or yeah, in weird packages. And...
Yes. All right. Thank you. And I'm assuming to sort of describe the book.
Yeah.
You can choose for. Okay. Yeah, he's going to go up to Jeff
Mm-hmm.
and Jeff, and is going to ask, all right, I have a job for you.
What kind of job?
Involves the magistrate, Nadia Qureshi.
Why? I
Good
don't
with
like
that?
her.
She's got a book, or we think she might have a book. It's description that two gave me. Big, probably important, or at least guarded. Think you could find something out?
I mean, not that I've ever broken into anyone's house or anything before, but I can always have a little poke around, see what I can see. I mean, her house is so big too, so she probably won't recognize little old me in there, you know? I'll be quiet like a little mouse.
I'm sure you'll be wonderful. Let us know if we can assist you in any way, because this is kind of big. It would help us in your request to get retribution on the cult.
Well, I've got my methods. I'm quiet. I'm sneaky. My mum always said I could get where water can't, so I'm gonna be in there. But just as a little cherry on top of the thing, is there any sort of discretion about anything in her house disappearing that might be valuable? Would you be bothered if that happened?
I love this.
Jeff, what a victor does with the spoils is up to them. If you get in there, then you have, well, let's just say you have my blessing to take whatever you feel is appropriate.
Because, I mean, the other kids think this is really weird, but my favorite thing to steal from someone is paperweights.
Sorry.
You can
Okay.
get some really fancy ones.
Sure.
And, well, it just fucks them over a bit,
Yeah, then their paper goes everywhere.
Yeah. So I'll bet because she's a magistrate, I bet she's got some really fancy ones.
I bet so too. I tell you what, take as many as you want. Take whatever you want. I would say, though, as long as they don't know you're there.
Oh,
But I trust you know how to do your job.
just a phantom.
Like a phantom. All right. I await a report of your escapades.
He stands up straight. I mean, this kid's like 8. He stands
Right.
up straight, gives you like a really solid salute, and scampers off into the darkness, does a little heel click. He's so excited to rob this lady's house as he dashes off into the darkness.
Yes, do it. And I think after that, Gorion is going to visit the Temple of Fex and see if he can't get himself a little luck.
Nice.
Before he heads back.
Is that your patron?
Gorion has 3, Rondra, Fex, and who's the other? Raja
Nice. Okay.
are the 3 that he especially devotes himself to.
Fex is the, I believe, goddess of luck.
Luck,
and
commerce. He's got like a whole big portfolio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a whole thing for Fex. Usually revered by like thieves and stuff, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, nonetheless, it is still Fex is one of the 12 gods, so it's not like the temple to Fex is like a seedy little thing anywhere. Fex has their own thing going. You can see a couple of people like gamblers that are there praying, to not
That's
go
usually
bust.
what Gorion says a prayer for.
Please don't fuck me today. But nonetheless, yes, you successfully managed to make your prayers for the evening to Fex. Otley, what are you up to?
Ortlieb is first he packs up Fair the mule with everything that he thinks he's going to sell on day one. And he's very organized already. He's got all sorts of little, like everything's already priced out. He's got little calligraphy, like price things. Like this is not his first rodeo here. And so he's going like he's basically like a montage sequence where it's like him getting ready for battle, but he's like putting on a crisp shirt and like, you know, has a level out and is setting up shelves and is like doing like a temperature check for things and like ordering people around who are delivering like huge blocks of ice for the things that he needs for like fresh preparations. And he's doing all that. As he's doing that, in terms of, because I am playing a role-playing game where we're supposed to be heroic, I'm going to do my best to get as complete information as I can about the layout of the entire tournament, and who is expected to be where at what times, especially anybody who seems to be nobility or the magistrate or anybody.
Oh, like one noble's giving a talk or giving a viewing or something. Yeah,
exactly. And where and specific times where most heads of state are expected to be gathered at the same place.
Right.
Because I figure all of their schedules are already well set.
Yes.
And so he's going to be trying to get all that information under the guise of capitalism, but is actually for good.
As we gloss over the anxiety memories of my first night before I tabled at a comic convention, cutting to the stalls, you managed to actually roll me a streetwise as you are talking to folks to get this information. I mean, some of it's pretty obvious, but some of it might be a little bit.
Ooh. Let's see. That and that are good. What's the second one? Oh, that's not bad. I passed it with 4 ranks. So is that like a 1?
4, I believe,
is
a 2. Quality level 2. Rad. Okay. So, throughout your investigations, low-key and otherwise, you determine that really the nobility is only going to be there for the major events. So they'll be there for the grand melee. They'll be there for the joust final. They'll be there for the feast. The odd 1 or 2 might show up for events that they're interested in, you know, but they're not sort of scheduled to have a big appearance. There is almost like a big wooden stand that has been made where royalty and nobility sit away from the commoners. You know, they've got the nice plump cushions for their butts, and there's the silk draperies and flowers all around. There's a big to-do, like this is the box to be seen in. This is the, this is the I'm important place. If they're going to be sat anywhere, they'll be sat there. And that's kind of like in the middle of the outer edge of like the arena that's been built.
Ooh, can we say like they have flowers, but instead of like only flowers, one of the decorative elements of this town is corals.
Ooh.
Like they like put corals as like, look at our town's corals.
I like that a lot. That's very nice. Because it is Havana, it's this deep blue, royal blue silks and silver and white that are the main colors for all of this. There are sort of standing areas for the peasantry that are coming. There are some benches for like lower nobility and just richer folks in town. There is a encampment which is a little way away from the main tournament grounds, which is where all the people that have come here that aren't being housed in the city can stay. It's like where the knights and lower nobility are pitched up. And there's like a little festival atmosphere in this kind of place. You know, there's like a beer tent and stuff like that there.
Is there going to be like an event, like the guild would never, like, that's too much, but like are like witches participating in like a magic competition or something?
Havana is a little iffy with magic. They're
Ah.
not as chill as the rest
Okay.
as some places may be regarding magic. This
Okay.
is a tournament purely about martial prowess.
Interesting. Okay.
So the sort of the merchants bit is kind of halfway between the camp where everyone's staying and the tourney ground. But much like a music festival, you know, there's some stalls that are like around the edge of the tourney ground that are going to get the foot traffic. Yours is one of them. Yours is closer to the noble bit because Nadia managed to like get you in there.
Nice.
But you're not like
Now I'm
next to
wondering.
the royal box, you know, there's a little bit of
okay.
a gap, but you can see the royal box from where you are.
Cool. I'm going to be
Now I'm wondering, what
having
does it
past
mean
things.
that she wanted to? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's good. No, I hope it means that she was very impressed with my business plan.
Yeah, it's
Clearly.
definitely
Yeah,
just
I
the
know. It's like
business
out
plan.
of character. Yeah, out of
Yes.
character. I'm like, what does it mean that she literally placed you next to the nobles? Is she trying to frame us, or does she want to go kill them? I'm just really excited.
I mean, maybe the Grand Melee, right? Maybe the plan is that it's going to be me and fucking Eye Gouge Bro and Lumberjack Bro, and then we're supposed to rush the stage. Who knows?
Be fun.
And remember that that Wolfgang is going to be there with you in the stall.
Mhm.
So that's actually significant if the lumberjack gets involved, because his brother will be right there.
It's
Oh
true.
no, trauma.
I've yes, whenever the lumberjack has time, I have a whole training I can give to him about how to stand there with sausages.
Oh, the blacksmith, you mean? Yeah.
Or
yeah.
yes, sorry, the blacksmith.
The blacksmith,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And he will look very good.
Yes, he will look magnificent.
Hold him
Okay,
here.
so I'm gonna say it's gonna take a little while for Jeff to get back to Gorion regarding the magistrate's house. Because he needs to break in, he needs to look around, and then he needs to sort of lie low for a little bit after the break-in before he can report back. So it's gonna be at least a day before you hear back from Jeff. I am super happy to just time skip to the important stuff, because I mean, it's an RPG, you play the cool important bits. So if there's anything anybody wants to get done in the day or anything like that.
I mean, I think the next important bit, if we all agree, is to talk to the. Oh no, we don't want to talk to the priest before we break in, right? Right, Liam? We want to find the book and stuff before talking to the high priest. You said, right?
Just in
Yeah,
case he's in on it.
Yeah.
We want to make sure at least, because like, yeah, if he goes down and clears out the basement, one way or the other, like if he's in on it, they know. If he's not in on it, he might go down there and be like, "What are you doing in my basement,
Right.
kids?"
Bungle things.
And then the whole thing will just, so.
Okay, so if we spend, and this is in meta, if we want to go on our mission in the afternoon when like a lot of the events are happening and people are going to be available to go to the tournament, I would love to spend the morning resting and collect some arcane energy as I like meditate and rest.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing that I would think to do is to go underneath the temple during the day, because they probably are less likely to be there. They're all doing their day jobs and stuff. But if everybody needs to rest and prepare, then Gorion will just chill out, So I'm just gonna hang out. He prefers to just, gonna kick back, smoke his pipe, have a drink.
I agree. I think during the day or when stuff's going on and the people are busy is the best time to do our thing.
Yeah.
By the same token, I think it'd be good. Like once Ortlieb's got the stall set, it'd be handy to go down there and just see if there's any familiar faces from the cult gathering hanging around the noble. Maybe there's other stalls that are there. Maybe conveniently, all of the cult members happen to have the stalls that are closest to the fucking nobles. So it'll be handy to go there and get a lay of the land at some point, I think.
Okay, so we'll say during your like sort of prep day while you're waiting to hear back from Jeff, you head to the tourney grounds, and you can see there's a little bit of an opening ceremony, not in so much and not so much that there's like a big pageantry or anything, but this is like there's like like at the beginning of the Olympics where all the countries walk their athletes around the arena. it's kind of like that. All the competitors come out and just show themselves. They're all wearing their gear and stuff. And you do recognize a couple of faces too. There's your big eye gouge wrestle bro. There's a couple of other people here, women, men, that had been at that gathering. You see a woman in what looks to be like full plate mail, and she's carrying like a big shield and a sword. The shield has like no real identifiable insignia on it. But yeah, she's out there and she's like, you know, giving it some. There's a couple, as you know, people competing. There's like one of the guys has a bow slung across his back. He's clearly entering archery. Not a huge amount, not like the most majority of competitors here are cult members. There's just one or two that you can pick out as they're going through. And you do see actually for this, a bunch of the nobility are here, including the Maharani, the Shah, and Fariha, who is now not dressed in her armor. She has been put into like a dress, and she looks really unhappy to be there. As she's kind of sat on this thing, as you can kind of tell from she's looking, she wants to be down there part of the fighting thing, but she's like been forced to sit up there and look all pretty, and she's not happy about it. And she's kind of got the slumped shoulders. Clearly she's had the bollocking that she was terrified of. But you don't see any other cult members with stalls. The magistrate is there, and she's like she's doing some organizational stuff. You know, if this wasn't fantasy, she'd have the freaking headset in with a clipboard directing people around. You know, she's doing some managerial duties, but everything seems like really normal. Like there's nothing super suspicious happening. This is just how you imagine the beginning of a tournament would go. Drink is flowing, people having a good time. The peasantry are here, they're already picking their champions and having a good time. There's nothing that would be like, that's sus. This is just a relaxing day.
This is where I start wondering if the cult sign up was a delusion and I've just been gaslighting myself the whole fucking time.
You took some like drug and then you imagined the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Was 2 supposed to be a part of that opening thing?
I mean, it wasn't, you know, there's some people that clearly haven't arrived yet, that have got events later on. Nadia does say at some point, you know, you can always go be a part of the parade if you want. And some people don't like to. Some people haven't arrived yet, but you can.
Nah.
Ortlieb will give you fistfuls of coupons if you go.
Well, fistfuls of coupons. Well,
just give them out. You'll be the most popular guy in the parade.
yeah, okay. Yeah, no, fuck it. And two goes all in too. 2 takes his shirt off so everyone can see his tattoos and everything. Although his face is the most ornately tattooed part of him. And he would go in and walk through. And as he does, he'll be putting on, he's not the most socially adept person. But it kind of suits him, I think, in this situation because it plays up the whole exotic savage thing that white people love. So while he's walking around doing that, he would be like a ticket take parade, just throwing coupons out towards people. Like, hey, you're Tefano, hey.
The peasantry are going fucking wild. So, you know, they love free shit. They love a guy who's engaging with them because a lot of the contestants, the people entering,
are
noble.
Like,
I'm better than you. You know, they're doing that whole like. One guy trots past on his horse, like, but when 2 comes and throws the coupons, like people lose their fucking minds. And you are received really warmly, actually, by the audience here. Nice. And Ortlieb, your booth becomes busier as people come up, like, oh yeah. You can even hear there's like unofficial bookies and they're already placing bets on 2 winning.
Because you're so nice.
Here we go. Because this is the underdog story, you know. This fella's turned up. He don't give a fuck if you're noble or not. As far as he's concerned, he's noble. So let's do it. All right.
It's like a knight's tale.
Yeah,
That's
it
it.
is. And so meanwhile, while this is happening, Ryan, you hear a little whistle, a little Dickensian orphan whistle as Jeff is nonchalantly leaning up against a counter, flicking his coin.
What you got for me? Good
They go,
news?
shit. She got nothing in there. I mean, she's got a lot of books, but none like the ones you described. She had
Okay.
a fuckload of paperweights, though.
I hope you made out good with those.
Oh.
Got some choice paperweights.
Choice.
All right. Well, hey, you know, that's good to know. Rules out possibility.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's got some, like, weird snake decorations going on there. Like, she's really into snakes. And, like, you know, everybody has their thing, and I'm not one to judge because, you know, my paperweight situation. If you
Sure.
saw my little lodgings, well, I mean, but
I
anyway,
love perfume.
a lot of snake stuff. A lot.
Out in the open, or
Well, no. I mean, she had this, like, little secret bit in her study. Like, you pulled a book, and, like, a bookcase moved, and it was like, whoa. And then inside there was, like, snakeskin chairs and stuff. And, like, I don't know. It was weird.
anything else?
There was, like, a map. There was a map. I think it was a map. It had, like, I think I recognized Havana on it. I mean, I'm not very good with my letters, but it looked like a map.
Could you take me there?
I think I could, yeah.
Because everybody's at the tournament now, yeah? Like, that's the whole... Let's do it.
All right. So, with that, that's where we'll end our session for today. But thank you all so much for joining us. I cannot wait to delve deeper into this. But
I love
yes,
how
that's
all
it
you were
for
doing
today.
the stuff, and I'm just like meditating, but you know.
But anyway, let's quickly go around, say who we are, what we do, and then we will peace out for today. So I'll go, as always, clockwise from my right to Liam. Hi, Liam.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this. I'm like, it's funny. I had this idea in my head for like a character that was all like sort of brooding, angry warrior guy, and he's becoming more and more of an entrepreneurial mascot by the day. That's all right. We're dominating this fantasy capitalism. Yeah, no, that was great fun. If you want to check out anything I'm doing, best place to find me would be on Twitter. I can't remember my Twitter login. It's fine. I'm always linked in the Twitter posts for this game. Just go there and check out everything else we're doing, and make sure you check out the WebDM Plays Patreon, because that community is building. And everyone's always talking about Torg. Why don't you come over and ask us about this game?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we have more sausage.
Hey,
So much more sausage.
Sexy blacksmiths, capitalism, home ownership, right? We're like,
Everything.
we're everything that you aspire to in 2020. No, there's
High
like
fantasy.
Everything.
It's
The
a
highest of fantasies.
The first guy I can legitimately say I flirted with actually went on to become a blacksmith.
oh, wow.
There you go. Emma.
Hi. I'm going to be very quick because you may or may not be able to hear on this microphone the dulcet tones of Trogdor Burdinator, our 4-year-old, having a meltdown because we can't have a fire in the fireplace, apparently. That's what Grandma says. So I'm Emma. I play Ortlieb. This game is so much fun. Thank you so much for being here with us. I am one of the owners of WebDM. You hopefully already know everything that we do on YouTube and on Twitch and on Patreon. And yes, if you want to know more about the games that we do, if you want to help support them and support these awesome people who run them and play them with us, go to patreon.com/webdmplays and get up in there, and your support will directly support the people who help us make it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma. Sharang.
So I'm Sharon Gabiswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharon Gabiswas, same spelling. Yeah, again, support the Patreon because it helps support all of us, which is nice. And also my Kickstarter, which is Strange Lust, Strange Love, an anthology of erotic art. No, that's the wrong one. An anthology of erotic interactive fiction. The erotic art game was the previous one. Is currently, as of recording this, at 115%. We are reaching our second stretch goal, which is getting a fancy schmancy CSS and UX designer to add cool graphics elements to all our interactive fiction stories. So do support that if you'd like to, if that interests you. Again, our third stretch goal is just a bonus pay for everyone, and the whole Kickstarter is about supporting artists who are queer and from marginalized communities and trying to uplift them in making their art. That's kind of sexy. So do check that out and support it if you are interested.
Thank you very much. Jim!
Hey, yes. So, as Emma mentioned, part of WebDM, Emma is our CEO and co-owner. I'm our host. You can see my face and hear my voice on just about everything that we do. So, go and check those out, especially the new WebDM Plays Patreon, because we'd like to keep this up and keep going and get some more excellent and choice gaming for you guys in all manner of role-playing systems. So I'm loving this game. I love the onion capacity, right? Like every time we peel away another layer, there's something else there. And the deeper we go, the more I love like just the lore and world of Aventuria and how we're using it and like kind of making it our own and also paying sort of like homage to what, you know, the canon, I guess. So I'm loving it and hope you guys are too. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Jim. As for me, I am Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer. I do all sorts, including video games, art streams, and tabletop RPGs. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I also appear on Encounter Roleplay and on Follow Black Cats, where I am the media and marketing coordinator for Black Cats Gaming. We have just released the Spy Game, which is a 5e powered game of international espionage and action. So please do check that out. But that is it from us for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Take care, everyone.